What if I told you there is a pillar in India that has been floating in midair for over 500 years, and no engineer in the world has been able to explain it? This pillar defies gravity and science. This is not a legend, this is not a myth. You can visit this pillar today in Andhra Pradesh and pass a cloth underneath it with your own hands. You can test it yourself today.
The cloth slides right through, clean, because there is a gap between the pillar base and the floor. Nothing is holding it up, nothing at all. A cloth passes under it, nothing holds it up.
Structural engineers, architects, and historians have studied this pillar for over a century. Not one of them has given a complete explanation that satisfies everyone.
In the next 10 minutes, I will take you through the full story, the history of the temple, the mystery of the pillar, what happened when someone tried to move it, and the most likely real explanation. The full story, start to finish.
The story starts in 1538 AD in a small town called Lepakshi, in what is today the Anantapur district of Andhra Pradesh in southern India. The temple was built by two brothers, Virupanna and Veeranna, who were governors under the Vijayanagara Empire, one of the most powerful empires in Indian history. The name Lepakshi itself has a deep connection to the Ramayana. According to the legend, this was the spot where the injured bird Jatayu fell after being wounded by Ravana while trying to save Sita. The Lepakshi Temple complex is dedicated to Lord Veerabhadra. It contains some of the finest murals in India, painted directly onto the stone ceiling, and they are still intact after 500 years.
The main hall has 70 stone pillars. Every single one is carved from solid granite. Every single one is load-bearing. 70 granite pillars, all load-bearing, except one. But there is one pillar, just different from all the others. This pillar does not rest on the floor. Its base is suspended in midair, separated from the ground by a visible gap, not touching the floor.
Most visitors who come to Lepakshi do not even notice this pillar at first. The temple is stunning. The carvings, the murals, the scale of the architecture. It is easy to miss, walk past it without noticing.
But once a local guide points it out to you, once you see that gap, you cannot unsee it. You go back, you crouch down, and you look. And what you see, you cannot look away. The question is simple. If this pillar is not resting on the ground, what is holding it up? The roof above it is solid stone. The pillar is granite. It weighs several tons. So what is keeping it in place? The most famous demonstration at Lepakshi is the cloth test. A thin piece of cloth is slid under the base of the pillar. It passes through completely. The cloth test, the most famous proof. The cloth passing through confirms there is a real physical gap, not just a visual illusion, not a trick of light, not a camera angle. The pillar is genuinely not in contact with the floor. It is not an illusion. The gap is real. The gap is not large. It is estimated to be around 1 to 2 centimeters, just enough to pass a piece of cloth through. But that tiny gap is enough to make the entire thing physically impossible by normal logic. Engineers have confirmed that all 69 other pillars are firmly on the ground. They are the ones actually carrying the weight of the stone roof. The hanging pillar appears to carry none of that weight. What makes this even stranger is that the pillar is perfectly vertical. It has not tilted, it has not shifted. After 500 years, it is standing upright and completely stable for 500 years. And the ceiling above it, the stone roof that the pillar appears to support, shows no signs of stress or collapse in that area. Everything above a pillar is intact. No stress, no cracks. A solid granite pillar of that height and diameter would weigh somewhere between 5 and 15 tons depending on its exact dimensions. So the question is, what is suspending several tons of granite in midair? There is no visible cable, no hidden support, no iron rod, no concrete backing added later. Every surface of the pillar has been examined, and there is nothing externally holding it in place. Nothing. The other great question is how it was built this way intentionally. The Vijayanagara builders clearly knew what they were doing. This was not a mistake. They built 69 pillars the normal way and this one differently. This was not a mistake. It was intentional. Interestingly, similar architectural oddities exist in other ancient Indian temples. But the Lepakshi cases exist, but Lepakshi is the most documented. For the local community, the pillar is not a mystery to be solved. It is a miracle to be respected. Many believe the pillar was suspended by divine power. But in 1902, was physically, forcibly if necessary. And what happened next would silence every skeptic who ever visited this temple. In 1902, a British civil engineer from the Archaeological Survey of India visited Lepakshi in his office. He examined reports and maps documenting the site's structural integrity. When he saw the hanging pillar, he did not accept it as a mystery. He believed there was a rational mechanical explanation. His plan? Move it. Examine underneath. Find the truth.
Carefully now. Apply force to the pillar.
Yes, sir.
Slowly, together. It's moving. Keep pushing.
And the pillar moved. Just slightly, just a centimeter or two, but it moved. The gap at the base shifted. For a brief moment, it appeared the mystery was about to be solved.
Stop! Everyone, step back now! The risk is too great. The whole ceiling could come down.
With great care, the pillar was shifted back as close to its original position as possible. But it was not an exact reset. The pillar today sits very slightly off from where it was before the 1902 attempt. But the 1902 incident revealed something extraordinary. It confirmed that the pillar and the structurally in some way. The pillar and ceiling are connected. The crack in the ceiling from 1902 is still visible today. It has been left there, unrepaired, as a permanent reminder of that incident. Visit and see it.
Since 1902, no one has attempted to physically examine the pillar in the same way. The Archaeological Survey of India now strictly prohibits any interference with the structure.
The fact that moving the pillar cracked the ceiling above means the pillar is contributing to the structure in some way. It is not purely decorative and it is not randomly floating. It is part of a system. So if the pillar is structurally connected at the top to the ceiling and floating at the bottom, not touching the floor, then the real question becomes, what kind of engineering makes that possible? There are three main theories that engineers and historians have proposed to explain the hanging pillar. Each one is plausible. None of them has been fully proven. Let us go through them one by one.
Theory 1. The pillar is held up by gravitational balance alone. The Vijayanagara architects may have designed this pillar to act as a counterbalance, its weight distributed through the ceiling in such a way that it suspends itself.
Think of it like a seesaw. If the ceiling above is heavy enough on the other side, and the pillar is connected to the ceiling at the top, the ceiling could theoretically be pulling the pillar upward, creating the floating effect. Theory 2, the pillar was intentionally built this way as a demonstration of Vijayanagara engineering mastery. It was designed to float as a statement to sue visiting rulers and dignitaries the technical supremacy of the empire. This theory is supported by the fact that Lepakshi was a royal temple, built to impress. The Vijayanagara architects were known to include deliberate engineering showpieces in their most important structures. Theory 3, the pillar originally rested on the floor, but over centuries, minor seismic activity or gradual soil settlement shifted the temple's foundation in a way that lifted the pillar base slightly off the ground. This would explain the gap but also raise a new question. How does the pillar remain perfectly vertical and stable after such a shift? A seismic shift that moved the base should also have tilted the pillar. Modern structural engineers who have studied the pillar on site tend to favor a combination of theories 1 and 2, that the pillar was deliberately designed to be part of a tensile or counterbalance system within the ceiling structure.
This is the most important takeaway from the Lepakshi pillar. Ancient Indian engineering was far more sophisticated than most realize. The builders of 1538 understood structural forces codified centuries later.
The Lepakshi pillar is not alone. The Grand Anicut Dam, built in the 2nd century AD, the iron pillar of Delhi that has not rusted in 1600 years.
Studying the Lepakshi pillar is not just about solving one mystery. It is about understanding that our ancestors had knowledge, practical, applied knowledge, that we have underestimated for too long.
So where does that leave us? We have a 500-year-old pillar, a 120-year-old incident that confirmed its structural role, and 3 theories that each explain part of the mystery but none of them fully. What is the real answer? The honest answer is that we do not know with certainty. The pillar has never been fully scientifically tested using modern equipment, and the Archaeological Survey of India is unlikely to allow that anytime soon. What we can say for certain is this: the pillar exists, the gap is real. The 1902 incident proved it is structurally connected to the ceiling, and no amount of modern theory fully explains how it was built or why it works.
If you're ever in Andhra Pradesh, the Lepakshi Temple is about 120 kilometers from Bengaluru. The entry is free. You can walk up to the hanging pillar and slide a cloth under it yourself. I strongly recommend you go.
The Lepakshi pillar has stood for 500 years. It has survived empires, invasions, earthquakes. It is still floating, still waiting for a real answer.
The Lepakshi mystery remains unsolved. Like, share, and subscribe to Stone&Cipher for more incredible ancient mysteries and forgotten engineering wonders.